Hello everyone. So today we'll be discussing a topic that is very ignored in today's society, but it is a topic that is very personal to me. So I will be educating you all on the lack of positive mental health in first responders, including firefighters, police officers, men and women in the army, etc. And these men and women are out on a day-to-day basis, risking their lives every day for us, and the media really shies away from focusing on what they go through and how it affects their daily lives. So I want you to think back to when you were a little boy or a little girl, and think back to when your parents always told you to stay away from danger. You can never go near the hot stove, never touch matches, stay away from fire. Now think about choosing a job, growing up and choosing a job that makes you stare evil in the face every single day. That is the job of a first responder. And they really make up the fight part in the phrase fight or flight, because they're constantly fighting to go into a shooting, to go into a fire, because that is their natural instinct as a first responder. They're always wanting to go to help during an emergency. Now, their emotional well-being is being tested every single day, and therefore they really suffer from a variety of health problems, including but not limited to alcoholism, drug abuse, family problems, home life problems, and most prevalent is PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. And all these problems can cause an immunity to dangerous situations. For instance, one of the biggest attacks in American history, the New York September 11th terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center, has really affected first responders, and that was almost 20 years ago. And this is very personal to me because my father is retired, but he was a firefighter and a first responder for 30 plus years. And when I was 5 weeks old, just a little baby, he did not hesitate to go to New York City from Rhode Island to go help and save the lives of people affected during that terrible day. And that just goes to show how my father, among many other first responders, how they're immune to situations, because my father that day was not thinking, I have a small child at home. He was thinking, I need to go help. I need to go save these people during this emergency situation. And also, a journalist in the New York Times, her name is Mona Hardikolis, she says that in her research, she has found that over 10,000 first responders are still affected by 9/11 every single day. They keep on replaying the images in their head, and that's not really talked about in today's society. So their line of work really makes them just turn their brains off. They are really numb to what they see on a day-to-day basis. If you and I were in that line of work, I'm not sure if we could pick ourselves up the next day and do it all over again, because that is the way their brains are wired. And Laura Reagan, she is a PTSD therapist, she states that their work limits their opportunities for expressing their feelings. So they really have limited opportunities or even sources to go and express how they're feeling. And that just really affects them as well. And lastly, unfortunately, the suicide rate in first responders is at an all-time high. It's skyrocketing year after year, and sometimes when they bottle up their emotions, they feel like they always have to be the hero in our story. So in my research, an anonymous firefighter stated, they never told us all the things we'll keep in our brains, the images, the brain deprivation, and he stated that they were told, keep things to yourself and don't ask for help. Because it is frowned upon. They're always the heroes in our story, so they feel as though they can't ask for help. They're always the ones to save us. Why should we care about how they feel? But in their minds, it's a whirlwind of post-traumatic stress disorder, survivor's guilt, and just awful things that they feel like they're not able to talk about to people. So I do believe that we must recognize the mental stress on first responders. My father, for instance, he does have unspoken PTSD. He still doesn't like to talk about some situations to this day. And as I get older, he does open up to me a little bit more, but for instance, he can't have his back to any emergency exit when we go someplace to like a restaurant or a movie theater, and he is a very overprotective father. But he does have unspoken PTSD, and I think it's time that we start being there for first responders since they're always there for us. And these first responders are seeing people on their worst days, causing them to shelter their own emotions. And these men and women really do experience the unthinkable because they're risking their mental health and their lives for the safety of the cities and the towns that they promise to protect. So I really think it's time for us to start recognizing their struggles in the media. Thank you.